instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weather Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and tonight with me is Allie Connors and Jimmy Fox.
Howdy.
Hi.
And tonight, we are going to get into mediums. Now, before we do that, I will be bringing you tonight's jump scare. All right, thanks, Ken. So this jump scare comes to us anonymously. They called it "Cell Number 1 is empty." So I've seen a lot of things in my career, things that would make a citizen doubt my sanity, from being dispatched to chase a UFO to responding to calls of ghosts. But the most unusual thing that happened to me was witnessed by several officers and a dispatcher. One evening, I had brought in a guy for domestic violence. As he was a bit rowdy, I was joined in booking by the sergeant and another patrolman. I'm in the process of booking Mr. Tough Guy when I glanced into cell number 1. There was a guy in there, short haircut, glasses, and a white t-shirt, just staring at us. I ignored him because I didn't want him to start banging on the window demanding a phone call or something. So, I finished the booking process and escort Mr. Tough Guy to his cell, walking past the guy in cell number 1. The guy in the cell just stood there, never saying a word or moving. We all then leave booking and go out about our business. Sometime later, Sergeant asked me to check the paperwork for the prisoners to see if any were ready to be transported to the county jail. I grab the paperwork and I go into booking to do the head count. Cell number 1 is empty. I panic and tell the sergeant, who also panics, and I began to make phone calls to detectives to see if any had moved the guy or had released him. They all say they didn't go into booking at all. I then checked the computer and the paperwork again, and the head count was accurate. No one had been placed in cell number 1. We go to the dispatch office to check on the surveillance video for booking. We rewind the footage to where I can be seen booking my prisoner. We fast forward to the point in the video where we all walk out. As soon as we walk past the door, the guy in cell block 1 blinks out of existence. We were all freaked out by the occurrence, believe you me. When we tried to transfer the video to DVD and USB drive, the guy in the cell did not appear. We still hear and see stuff every now and then, and the prisoners in the detox tank can be seen talking to someone in the direction of cell number 1, even though it appears empty. To this day, I'm wary of going into booking alone.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's a little fucking weird.
That's crazy.
Right. So I always love those, and thank you for the submission, Anonymous, but I always love those first responder or like cop stories because you know that like there's a lot of evidence around it. So they have cameras, they have other people, they have to write down different, in
there's
their log
protocol.
books. Exactly. There's protocols there and things like that.
Not only that, cops have seen a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, why would they lie?
Right. And I mean,
so there's like a trust there to an extent.
Yeah,
there's
to an
a trust
extent.
there.
Yeah. I mean, look. I come from a family of cops, and like they were all no nonsense, no bullshit.
Right.
Unless they were bullshitting, but like like when they're like joking around, but like when it comes to stuff like that, they're like, look, I know what I fucking saw. And seeing something like that, like if that's like a Stephen King short story right there.
Yeah. And it sounds
Absolutely.
like there were multiple people that thought someone was in there, and that just adds
credit other
to,
patrolmen, the dispatcher, and his superior officer. So.
And if they caught that on, I wish I could see that CCTV or something.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
The other weird part that I find is this is a booking, so I assume you go cell by cell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Somebody had to put somebody in 1 for it to be filled. You know what I mean?
Or for someone to be
I don't know much about it. Somebody can correct me,
there.
whatever, but
unless they all assume someone else put someone in cell 1.
Yeah, I would imagine when I got locked up that one time, there were people in all the other cells, and they threw me in a cell with other people, but then they were rotated out. It was a weird experience, and thank God I've never been arrested for suspicion of DUI again. But in that case, it was a whole weird thing, and it happened. And I wish I would have talked to a ghost.
That would have been pretty dope.
And honestly, it makes sense that there might be spirits haunting those kind of places with
Right.
high energy,
high motion,
yeah,
all kinds
all
of stuff.
that.
Or
I got chills.
could be an alien.
Could be an alien.
Could be an alien.
Could be he's there. Maybe he's hunting. Like we assumed that Indrid Cold is a intergalactic bounty hunter.
Right.
That's ODP canon that we've established. So yeah, that's a good one. But oh my God, wait a second, guys! Something just came across the Other Dangerous Podcast news desk.
Oh no!
It's a haunted headline.
Haunted headline.
All right, guys. Report claiming possible detection of alien civilization removed from Chinese state-run news site. Like they do. All right, guys. So this article says, a report this week claiming that evidence of alien civilization had possibly been discovered was removed soon after publication to the Chinese state-run news site Science and Technology Daily, the official newspaper of Chinese Science and Technology Ministry. However, prior to its removal, the news had already begun to circulate widely on social media. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. A lot of us have already heard the prior one, and Jimmy, you got something to say? Go ahead.
So,
What are you gonna say?
I don't want to get your podcast canceled by China,
Yeah, like they could do
and
that.
I don't want to get political here. But let's go here. So, China could be doing this because 1, it actually happened, or 2, just to make news.
Right, true.
But doesn't that get into a deeper kind of conversation of
About the
something's gonna
political
get
climate.
across? So the U.S. has been posting a lot more about their UFO encounters.
Exactly, and we just had that congressional 2-day hearing, talking about it. The Pentagon
Right.
confirmed that they were real, and they had 19 near misses with their official jets and
Right.
planes.
From
Right.
what they tell us.
From what they tell.
From what
us.
they tell
Right.
us.
Right.
So wouldn't China want to get it out there?
Yeah, one up
real
us.
fast, just real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Like not
Even
only
if they pulled it back, they know
Yeah.
that word travels.
right, and
in this
also
society.
we have these near misses. We didn't recover anything. No, we've made contact with civilizations, brah. We've made contact. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Absolutely.
we're talking to them. We have the technology.
We're a step ahead, bro.
Sorry.
But also, on another level of this is China would keep any contact that they have with other possible civilizations out in the galaxy. They'd probably keep it kind of quiet.
probably. I would.
You know what I
assume
mean?
So.
I feel like they would try to get as much information as they can.
Right. It
Like, come see China.
Right.
It's the Disneyland of the world.
Yeah, we have aliens. But no,
We
also,
have aliens.
I mean, also you think too that maybe there was a fundamental difference in opinion of people at that level. Like they're like, we have to get this out of there, and then someone above it was like, Xing Zhang Zoom was just like, shut that down.
Right.
Like we if we're
Right.
contacting them,
But
we
they
need the
knew as
secrets.
soon as they got it out on the internet, irregardless if they removed it within the minute,
Yeah.
someone else would have gotten it and gotten it out there into the
it'd
world.
be circulating the second it dropped.
Which is kind of the exciting part about internet and society now is that people find shit, they
Yeah.
can share that shit
Right, and
real
it can
fast.
just keep getting
Real
spread
quick.
over and over and over.
The only
Not
thing is
even
when it's fake. Is
Not even the Reds can stop it.
Yeah, right. Well, the funniest thing is it's like a mixtape.
Exactly.
When a fire mixtape drops, everyone's spinning that shit. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, China is they dropped a mixtape and they bounce real quick. They're like,
And
oh, sorry,
especially-
too hot.
Again, not to get into politics or anything, but the past 2 years they've been in kind of hot water.
Yeah, that's right. It's right.
If they're jumping on this UFO reveal kind
Right,
of parade
yeah.
that the U.S. is doing,
right.
who knows?
Who knows? So they wanted some of the juice.
Yeah,
You're-
I don't blame them. I want some of that alien juice too. I
But-
want to know what's going on out there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Your dog is a Chinese spy.
He definitely is. He's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, King.
He tried to stop this entire conversation.
long running podcast trope here. King is fucking up another good recording. 'cause
He's
he has to.
definitely a Red.
He's definitely a red out there. All right, so on to tonight's topic.
Yes.
It's one of those highly debated ones. Been around a long time. I mean, it goes back to soothsayers and night times and stuff like that, and mystics in the olden days.
Primitive times.
Primitive times. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just a thing. Everyone has always wanted to know someone that has 1 foot through the veil, and it's been used to, I don't know, at times elicit power from different leaders and things of that nature. Someone has, a little...
Rasputin.
Yeah, exactly. Certain people have, risen to power with this ability or knowing someone. And I'm going to bring a little bit of history into mediumship, or mediums in general. Now,
a bunch of frauds.
Spectacles, oracles,
sure.
all that fun.
Getting ahead of myself.
Mumbo jumbo.
I did. Where is it? I don't know. I had it. Oh, once a seance now. I had the encyclopedia's definition of a medium, which I thought was really funny.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Yeah. Ooh, actually, this is a lot longer. You know what?
A medium, I'll do it for you. A
Sure.
medium is in between a small and a large.
Right. Nailed it. Nailed it. Wow. Whoa, man.
I just
Can't
Dude.
get better than that.
Yeah. All right, guys. So for those, for the uninitiated, I'm going to go into here just the history of mediumship here. But mediumship is the practice of purportedly meditating and communication between familiar spirits and spirits of the dead and the living human beings. Practitioners are known as mediums or spirit mediums. There are different types of mediumship or spirit channeling, including seance tables, trance, and Ouija. Belief in psychic abilities is widespread despite the absence of objective evidence for its existence. Scientific research have attempted to ascertain the validity of claims of mediumship. An experiment undertaken by the British Psychological Society led to the conclusion that the test subjects demonstrated no mediumship abilities. Oh man, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. Mediumship gained popularity during the 19th century when Ouija boards were used by the upper classes and as sources of entertainment. Investigations during this period revealed widespread fraud, with some practitioners employing techniques used by stage magicians, and the practitioners began to lose credibility. Fraud is still rife in the medium or psychic industry, with cases of deception and trickery being discovered to this day. Several different variants of mediumship have been described. Arguably the best known form involves a spirit purportedly taking control of the medium's voice and using it to relay messages. And where the medium spirit hears the message and it passes it on. Other forms involve materialization of the spirit or presence of the voice and telekinetic activity. I love it. This practice is associated with several religious belief systems such as shamanism, Vodun, spiritualism, spiritism, Cambodian voodoo, or we'll just say voodoo, Umbanda, and some New Age groups. All right, so the history with it is attempts to communicate with the dead and other living human beings, aka spirits, have been documented back to early human history. The story of the Witch of Endor, the most recent edition of Niv, which in rendered medium in the passage, tells of one who raised the spirits of the deceased prophet Samuel to allow the Hebrew king Saul to question his former mentor about an upcoming battle, as related to the book of Samuel. In Jewish texts, the basis for the Old Testament. Mediumship became quite popular in the 19th century in the United States and the United Kingdom after the rise of spiritualism as a religious movement. Modern spiritualism is said to date from the practices of lecture of the Fox sisters in New York State in 1848. The trance mediums Pascal Beverly Randolph and Emma Hartridge Britton were among the most celebrated lecturers and authors in the subject in the mid-19th century. Snake oil salesman. Alan Kardec coined the term spiritualism around 1860. The Kardec claimed that conversations with spirit by selected mediums were the basis of the Spirits book and later a 5-book collection, Spiritus Codification. Some of the scientists of the period who investigated spiritualism also became converts. They included chemist Robert Hare, physicist William Crookes, and evolutionary biologist Alfred Russel Wallace. Nobel laureate Pierre Curie took a very serious scientific interest in the work of medium Eusebia Palladino. That's all I got for you guys. Mm-hmm. Other prominent adverts included journalist and pacifist William T. Stead and physician and author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. After the exposure of the fraudulent use of stage magic tricks by physical mediums such as the Davenport brothers and the Bang sisters, mediumship fell into disrepute. However, the religion and its beliefs continue in spite of this. With physical mediumship and seances falling out of practice and platform, mediumship coming to the fore. In the late 1920s and early 1930s, there were around 250,000 practicing spiritualists and some 2,000 spiritualist societies in the UK, in addition to flourishing microcultures of platforms, mediumship, and home circles. this is the last run here. Spiritualism continues to be practiced primarily through various denominational spiritualist churches in the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, over 340 spiritualist churches, centuries open their doors to the public, and free demonstrations of mediumships are regularly performed. So
I think that's even more now in the U.S.
Let me-
since pandemic and everything. More people finding their
That was a lot of
spirituality.
words.
That was a
was a
lot.
lot. I'm sorry, I had to go through it.
No, it's
No,
important for
understandable.
people to understand.
Yeah, right.
It is, incredibly.
Yeah, because I grew up listening and reading all this shit. So when someone says spiritualist movement, I always go back to that. I love the idea of the times of not knowing, and it was so big because of the wars of the time, people losing so many
Right.
people that
World War One, especially. Civil War.
Yeah, right.
After the
Yeah.
Civil
Yeah,
War.
exactly. So people
That's when
wanted to
a lot of it started in the U.S.
exactly.
Well, actually,
That's what that was.
revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the spiritualist movement became huge after the Civil War because so many people, wanted to talk
They
to those
felt they
people.
could connect to them.
Exactly. And they lost them, and they were gone, and it was a whole kind of new concept for that.
And it was the
guess,
first real war that people understood was on their soil, was
Right,
on this
right,
land that they
right.
had just claimed.
Yes, exactly. And so, I love the idea of it. I know it's almost all of it's bullshit, but some of it wasn't, right?
Exactly.
But the thing,
So
I
it
love
doesn't
the
have
thought.
to be 100% true.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
If 1 out of every 100 stories is true,
Yeah.
still fucking weird.
And honestly,
You know?
it's important to believe in something.
Right.
Especially when you lose loved ones. It fucking blows. Can I curse?
You can say you could say fuck a butt right now, and I
Great.
wouldn't stop you.
It fucking sucks when
Yeah.
you lose someone you love, and if you can believe that there's somewhere out there that
Sure.
you can connect with,
Sure.
that can help a lot of people
Right.
heal. And especially back then when science was not
What it is.
to what it is today.
But not what it was.
when society wasn't what it is
Back
today.
when we were sawing people's arms off and just
Yeah.
giving them fucking whiskey
Yeah.
to deal with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like those
Sorry.
were so important. But
That's
it
how,
was
yeah.
so important back then. And
Right.
so one thing I did want to mention, and I don't know
Sure.
if I'm getting ahead of anything.
No, go ahead. No.
But Oracle tradition has
Mm-hmm.
been years and years, especially in native cultures, not just Native Americans,
Right.
but native, cultures across
Native around the world.
The
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
They always had spiritual leaders, these oracles, these shamans,
Right.
these people that were their spiritual leaders, and spirituality was so important because they were so connected to the nature around them.
Right.
That everything had a soul, a beat,
Right.
everything was connected. And who are we to think we were more than
Yeah.
everything around us?
Yeah. So Jimmy.
Oh, go.
No. Mine's steel trap. Baby.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
Mine's not. So my thing with shamans around the world,
Right.
especially in ancient times, was there a bit of validity to it? Maybe.
Maybe.
But end of the day, you had your belief within your tribes.
Right.
It's tribalism.
Yes.
But
So just like any Greco-Roman
But
Norse ideology?
a lot of it within, especially native Norse, barbarian of any sort,
Yeah.
it came from some sort of
Believing in something more than yourselves.
I'm gonna say it came from drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Alright, fair.
a lot of the shamans in Norse mythology, or not even mythology, in reality,
yeah.
from what we've learned from anthropology, it comes from shrooms.
And we speak on Norse because that's what we
Right.
we know the most about.
Yeah. Well,
But even native, it's
native
shrooms.
as well.
So-
It's some sort of
What-
It's
psychedelic.
something that brings you to a higher elevation.
Yeah. So that was going to lead me into actually my next point. So, good on you, Jimmy. But no. So yes, drugs, right? But also you got to think there weren't these distractions that we have surrounding us
absolutely.
at all times. All times.
Or
Not just
technology.
not just television,
Especially.
not just radio, not just books, not just anything. There weren't these things. It was all oral tradition, and there was a connection to nature back then, right? So also, you were saying with technology too. all these things that are in the air, all these electronic waves, radio waves, all this stuff, that wasn't around back then. So there was this
Couldn't fuck up our mind. Man.
Exactly. There was this kind of almost connection to nature of an understanding that we'll never know. So let's say that, yes, a lot of it was, here, drink this flour that we mixed up with this and that, and you go on this fucking journey. Besides that, too, there is a sense of being a human back then that we'll never understand.
No.
And who's to say that our brain just hasn't developed out of that,
That's true.
So
I mean, we've developed so quickly
Right.
over the past few, even 20 years.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 years, yeah.
That who knows what our brain has actually been able to accept versus what we're supposed to accept based on the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never cross certain religions, spiritual leaders. Like, I'm not going to go to a voodoo or hoodoo
Yeah.
area and ever fuck with those. Because I believe without a doubt that their culture has something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I'm
No,
not
I hear
gonna
you.
mess with any religious or spiritual leaders.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with the fact that you both know me. Mm-hmm. You know I'm spiritual to a sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry about his hair shedding.
But I love playing devil's advocate.
Sure, you have
Yes,
to.
you do.
Right. So
He's a big fan of it.
so I forgot my first point because I have a very tiny mind. But
Whiskey helps that too.
Exactly. My second
I'll
point.
find it.
I'll find it eventually, and I'll have to come back to it and interrupt someone. My second point is everything that voodoo.
Yeah.
We give it the power. Ouija boards. They're made by Hasbro,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
You know?
I do not think voodoo and hoodoo are the same as
hold on,
Ouija
Allie,
boards.
Allie,
I know, I'm sorry.
Allie, stop.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
We give everything the meaning that
Oh,
we
yeah.
want to give it.
We
So
give
the
it the
most
power.
popular religion in the world, and correct me if I'm wrong at this point, but Christianity.
I think
It's
that's
got to
the
be
most
like
popular.
it's obviously in the top 2.
Yeah, man, there were wars to make it the most popular.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's pretty up
So
there.
Yeah.
people.
It's top 3 on the list.
The never eat shredded wheat. The people in the Western world.
Yeah.
I always get the East and West
Yeah.
confused. Dyslexic shit. But people in the East really believe in catechism, in like there's a demon in my house.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
But if you take it over to the Western world, there's a genie in my house.
You're a
There's
djinn.
a
Yeah.
djinn in my house, Like, it's all what we give power to.
Right.
And I think the best example that we could possibly go to is the Ouija board.
Right. Right.
We gave it the power. Hear me out.
I'm
Al.
listening.
Okay.
No.
Due to spiritualism,
I'll
we
give
gave
it
it
the
the
power.
power.
I'll give you the power to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not condoning fucking with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's the same thing with, we believe, like, salting doors helps.
I am very against
It's
Ouija
about your
boards.
beliefs.
Just say that.
You know?
Well, there you go.
You don't fuck with them. That was my only rule.
So
in
that's
my house
that's a
growing
good
up.
point you bring up, because I always say this too with people. There's a lot of people that believe in witchcraft and have the powers. Look, so one of the basic rules of witchcraft in its essence is it only works, and voodoo as well. It only works if the person that you're doing the spell or whatever to believes in it.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I agree wholeheartedly that you give power, that we give power to all. And I also agree too with the Ouija board thing. Do I think it's a stupid little toy? Yes. But also, I will never fuck with a Ouija board because I don't want to call some shit in, whether or not I believe it or not.
One of my biggest thing with Ouija boards is I think people have immense power to put power to something.
Sure.
So Ouija boards, my mother always taught me that was like her only rule. Like
Right.
we weren't a rule centric household. But Ouija boards were always off the table, and
Right.
I believe in that because
Sure.
I don't want to, bring forth any negative energy,
Right.
and you don't know what you're
Well-
unleashing when you tap into
Well,
that,
like-
because you don't. Again, our brains we don't know. We use a small percentage of
right.
it. We don't know what we're tapping into
Right.
when we're talking
So
to
when,
anything.
When you're
really.
saying too that we give power to stuff, that's the whole essence of a tulpa, right? It's something that is created. So there was the what is it called? The Ryan experiment.
Did you ever read The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown?
No, most of my reading was
Don't worry, it's really slow, so I don't blame you.
Most of the reading I've done in my life was in a very it was in a vacuum when I was teaching martial arts, and it was at a point where I was doing most of it on Japanese spiritualism and Budo and Bushido and the way of the samurai. Right. So that's kind of, and actually it's kind of, I don't want to say my religion, but it's,
amazing.
It's potent.
And that's the thing, I would never intercept anyone's spiritual belief, especially in old ancient hoodoo, voodoo.
So I do want to address.
I would never.
I forgot. I wanted to address when you were saying that. So yes, I when it comes to and also it's fine. Talk as much as you want. It's fine.
Okay. I have a lot of opinions.
Yeah, no, you're good. Well, that's why you're on the show. That's why both of you are on the show. So here's the deal. When you were saying, look, one, we don't have to believe in anyone's anything. But no. I feel that like it's important, like when you're dealing with like a high priestess of anything, to respect. Because also too, I haven't done the research into that. I don't know the fundamentals and basics of those religions. I mean, I know them, but I never studied.
And even if you do the research, who knows what could be real?
Right.
Like there are things I don't want to fuck with.
Right.
I don't want to fuck with Japanese culture. I don't want to fuck with hoodoo. I don't want to fuck with voodoo. Yeah. I've met enough people to know what they believe in is strong.
Right.
That's strong energy. Yeah. And I don't want to be on the wrong side of that. I want to let them do what they feel is right.
Right.
Because they're the experts. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm an outsider.
Sure.
My thing, not getting...
But I respect them.
Yeah.
Super philosophical here, but...
Get super philosophical. Fuck it.
Everyone's philosophical and religious beliefs matter.
Yes.
Sure.
We all need something to believe in. We all need something
whether
to believe
whether we believe it or not, we give some sort of power to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
right.
We respect religious leaders.
Whatever the thoughts are to it.
We should.
To an extent.
But whatever our thoughts, they affect it.
When shit starts going sour in your life, you start thinking back to, what's the last religious thing I got into? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, there's here's a power of that, right? Mm-hmm. So we're kind of getting off the point of mediumship.
Yes,
Hold on. I'm gonna don't worry. I'm gonna anchor us back in here. So that's the thing, right? So you see when someone goes into recovery, right, or someone goes into the first thing is acknowledging a higher power, whatever it may be.
And
now,
they push God a lot.
Right, but let's say this. Like I see. Once again, my definition of God and these two kind of things are different than other people's. But high power for me is I consider it. We're all part of this universal body, right? We're the atom. The atom is the breakdown, and we are, and it's the same things that are in me are the same things that are in the air.
And that's kind of why I brought up Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol.
Sure.
Remember the last thing, the thing that I said that I didn't remember. Yeah.
Okay, go.
Psychologically,
go.
Carl Jung.
Okay.
Universal consciousness.
Right.
Throughout time, I do really subscribe to that belief of the fact that we know good from evil.
Sure.
As a humanity.
Sure.
And we all have our own versions of good and evil. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of what we subscribe to.
Sure.
We've come to an age where we can all see, like we were talking about with the China thing.
Yeah.
We can all kind of sit there. It's instant. Media is instant.
Yeah.
And we can see good and bad.
Right.
So, are you familiar with Carl Jung's theory of the collective conscious?
Vaguely. I've read, but go ahead. Give it up.
Say it for all the viewers.
Breaking down, just simplistic
to rudimentary levels.
Yeah. And this was back. Wicked Witch of the West, bad.
Yeah.
God, good.
Right.
That's it. We find a good and an evil, and we all kind of believe it.
Right.
So, to an extent.
Yeah, sure.
Is this where I can come in with The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown?
Sure.
This is why I bring this up, because this was a really big changing point in my existence.
Sure.
I've always been spiritual since I was little.
Sure.
I just grew up with it.
Sure.
But The Lost Symbol, even though it was over detailed and a little bit exuberant. And
Well,
it's,
sometimes people pontificate, and it's
yes. But ultimately, it said that God is within all of us, and so we have to worship ourselves in order to worship a bigger God. And I think, right. Unfortunately, I do think that the ego can get in the way of that. So I think
that's a complicated part
believing
of Carl Jung's theory.
Believing in something bigger than us. So I went to rehab.
Sure.
Nature was something that someone said, well, you can believe in nature, you can believe in music, you can believe in this and that. And that helped me a fuck ton.
Right.
Because I was like, believing in something bigger than myself, but something that was stable in the universe that I could look to be like, this means something. Nature was what it came down to.
Nice.
Nature is something I can look into. Nature is something that I can be a part of. Or just observe.
Okay.
So what you're saying,
And that was
is,
the higher power that I chose to put my thing into. I don't know.
just to lighten up the mood
Oh
a
God,
little
I'm
bit.
so sorry.
No, it was great.
Oh, yeah.
But I know how you get over rehab. So
Yeah.
they tried to make you go to rehab, and you said yes.
I said no.
No, you
No,
said
you said yes.
Yes,
You said
yes.
No, I was 15. I had to go.
I was 15. So here's the deal. Okay, so
Sorry, we
No,
really
that's fine.
did get through.
No,
We
it's fine.
digressed.
But, no, it's fine.
Median and
It's fine. Oh no! It's good. It's good. So let me go on this now. Okay. So how you were saying that part of that theory is you have to believe in you guys in yourself. You have to believe in yourself over that to be able to appreciate that. Blah blah blah. Right. So at that point, we have to understand that some people might have abilities. Right. That may even be beyond our understanding, because even though we're always studying the universe or space and everything else, we still will never have a full understanding of that.
They might have
Just
slightly
as-
more power.
Right. Or
in their brain.
but we don't know. It's out there. It's the cosmos.
It's the ether.
It's the ether. There's things beyond planets we'll never see. We'll never be able to see. Right. There's things we don't understand. So just like that, there are things in people that we'll never understand. Right. And yes, there are a lot of trickery and a lot of things that people try to push and push on that forefront. So that brings me to something from when civilization was becoming more civilized, and I want to bring this up before we get into. This is going to be kind of my one of my final segmented pieces of this episode.
de resistance.
Yeah. No, we're going to get to that. This is actually just. I want to talk about the Fox sisters. Okay. No relation, Jimmy? No relation?
Oh, not at all.
We looked into it. It was
Okay.
not.
I don't think they had any kids, honestly.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Trust me,
what
I was
came out
like,
about them?
what?
Okay, so all right, the Fox sisters once again the uninitiated, getting back into mediums, but we got off in a little spin there about actual universal our connection with the universe and how we see it, how we feel, which is good. It's good to talk about that because that's actually going to lead into our final portion of the conversation. But the Fox sisters, okay, they were kind of the beginning of it all. The Fox sisters, they were three sisters from Rochester, New York, who played an important role in the creation of spiritualism. Leah, Margaret, and Catherine, the two younger sisters, used rappings to convince their older sister and others that they were communicating with spirits. Their older sister then took charge of them and managed their careers for some time. They all enjoyed success as mediums for many years. In 1888, Margareta confessed that their rappings had been a hoax and publicly demonstrating their method. Margareta attempted to recant her confession the next year, but their reputation was ruined, and in less than 5 years they were all dead, with Margareta and Kate dying in objective poverty. Despite their confession, the spiritualism movement continued to grow in popularity. Okay, so here's the beginning of it, right? So this is what we're talking about, how our beliefs and our connections can feed a monster, right? And it can turn into something that it never meant to.
This is an important. I mean, it kind of started everything.
It did. It did with the spiritual.
Which is crazy because, whatever their means, I mean, life was hard back then. So.
Right, well, people would come far and wide to this house that they had, and they would do all this kind of stuff. And the wrappings were knocks. It was like
and
knocks.
They created quite a spectacle.
Oh yeah. They were, they were the it mediums. But so I think the most important thing to find out there is that they were admitted to be fakes, but it still carried on.
But that's just like the most famous, photographers of spirituality with ghosts, with fairies, with all those kind of phenomena.
Put to an end by what's his name? The Greatest Showman. Bart. What was his name?
I can't think of it.
No, it's the guy that played.
I'm terrible.
Hugh Jackman. Wolverine. It was
Hugh Jackman. It was Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman,
the greatest showman.
Yeah. He was the one who figured out and went and testified before court how ghost photography was fake. So Hugh Jackman, thank you. But
and I'm a photographer, so I can appreciate the early mediums that they did to
they figured out some
things.
Stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah, especially for the time.
Awesome
the feats they did, but also on a spiritual level, it's like. Fuck, did you have to fake that shit, man?
They did, because
they
wanted
make it so
fame.
much harder.
I know, but they don't care. See, that's one thing you got to realize about mediums, right? Especially modern ones. They don't care.
And that's
as long as
they're
star rise. Yeah,
that's the disheartening. I mean, Teresa Caputo, Sylvia Brown.
Yeah.
Those are like
John Edwards.
Yeah, like there's so many that I think maybe had an inkling into a realm.
Yeah, sure.
But they fucking sold out.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing
worse
is,
than any punk band could.
Sure.
I honestly think that the thing is they got smarter. Cold reading is so goddamn believable.
Oh, it's easy too.
It is.
It's so easy.
I learned how to do it. I actually studied. I learned how to do it when I was 17, and I used to go to parties, and I would go, I'm allowed to ask you 3 questions about yourself. And like my friends would get so pissed because they'd be like trying to hook up with this hot girl, and I would do it. She'd end up crying and be done, and they were like, "Dude, what's the fuck?"
But that's the thing. You learn human psychology.
It's psychology.
Basics.
Yeah. Right.
Going back to Carl Jung.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, well, fuck. Am I a fake?
Well, let's get. Hold on. We're gonna get right. We're gonna get into that. So that was.
I
that
didn't
is
mean
the.
to.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That is where we're gonna go. All right. So, what is the motive for faking these abilities? Right. 1, attention. 2, money. 3, fame. 4, popularity. The list could go on. Right.
And in the early days of spiritualism, I think a big part of it was power as well.
There you go.
You had power over these statesmen in early America.
Right.
Because they're coming to these shows, and I call them shows because that's what they were.
Right.
And the thing is, I mean, you
Have these
in
statesmen
the
and-
early stages of spiritualism, you had power over statesmen, you have power over the rich, the powerful.
Right.
They all came to your shows and they believed every single word of what you said.
Right.
If they said, "Oh, your son, he died," well, he's telling you to, fuck off.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever it may be. Obviously,
Or
it's
it's
not
like
fuck
he
off. It's
has
like,
an important message. I need more something to get this message out.
right. But not only that, you can get it to a point where it's like, I need more, man, to get this out. It's like, I need you to donate to this call, or I need you to pass this. He wants me to tell you that you need to pass
There are
this.
too many things in the way, and I'm worried. I need this house to get me this house so I can have time and clarity to get away. And all these worries I have are clouding my mind. I need trappings to ease my soul, my spirit. I can't communicate. So yeah, you're actually right. Power is probably the biggest one. So that's even back in those days. Bring it to the forefront of modern mediums and why they fake, right?
Well, doesn't everyone, even now, want someone to believe in?
Sure.
So isn't it easy for them to still rip people off?
As Kanye said, no one man should have all that power.
Or woman. As the minds meld out there, another major podcast lands. Whoa. Dude,
But honestly,
Kanye's
that's the
got
thing
it.
that's so upsetting. Is I don't know if you've mentioned what we can do or whatever.
Hey,
but-
shut up
Get
and
in there,
talk.
shut up.
Yeah, shut
I don't
up
know
and
if
talk.
he's mentioned whatever
We have a structure.
whatever bullshit we might be able to do or not. But
We're not there yet. I was waiting for you.
Again.
But hold on. Before you go into that, okay, I asked a question. What is the reason for someone to fake mediumship?
I would think money.
Money. Any other reasons? Fame, power, attention, fame.
Power, fame.
Attention. Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't say power. Jimmy said power. Money. I said attention, fame. So okay.
I would
so
think so,
we
yeah.
have, and he was saying even more in those times. So the power in the old times, right? In those olden days of like these people that were mediums that were able to hold sway over courts. Yes, power. Definitely in the old days, right?
Oh yeah, Rasputin.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Look at what he was able to
Yeah.
accomplish.
Yeah, without showering, you know.
Oh my God.
But that's the thing, right? So now we go. Let's jump to these modern ones. Like you got the people on the TV shows, right? You have the Ghost Files.
I'm gonna stop that right there.
Yeah, sure.
You said their reasoning. TV show.
Right.
They're gonna get a fucking TLC TV show.
Yeah. Right. And
Looking at you, Long Island medium.
Call her out. Teresa Caputo.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that believe in that stuff, right? So
Which, again, it's not a problem to believe in that shit. It's not a problem to believe in something more than yourself, to believe in something like that.
And
I don't like the people that monotonize off of it, though.
we both talked about this. The Long Island medium, I think she has some sort of power.
I think so, too.
End of the day.
sure, they might.
I don't think she's fake.
I can tell you this. I have a theory about that.
Oh, yeah?
I have a theory that let's say she did, right? Let's say these like John Edwards, all these people, right?
John Edwards is cold reading.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. But also, they're doing pre-interview things before the show, before the tape.
Oh, yeah.
People-
I mean,
people
that's the
are-
thing.
right.
You can't
Right.
you can't believe anything in reality TV.
Yeah.
Right, King?
Yeah.
You can't do
King's
it.
like, yeah, I know. So yeah, so they maybe they had some power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they go in, they do all this stuff, right? Maybe they had some ability to reach to the other side, see something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they go into it, and then let's say they start gaining notoriety, they start making this money, they get the TV show, and then I think maybe at some point it becomes too easy to fake.
Yeah.
To not even do it, to pump it out, right? So at a point, maybe 1 out of the 100 of the readings were accurate or good, and there was actually something on the other side. They got to the point where faking it is much easier to pump out higher results.
But
Right.
also, I don't believe that anything that they televised on TLC
Sure.
is legitimate.
Agreed.
I think the shit that's legitimate is what you see off camera.
Sure.
Honestly, I think Long Island medium, I think she does possibly have a gift because
Okay.
I
she's
think
not
so.
as cold readed, but you said off camera, whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
But
she might be, but I think she has some.
I think
she
once
has
in a
some
while she talks to a
connected
cameraman
somewhere beyond.
and she's like, "Your grandmother said hi."
Yeah. Right.
Again,
I get you.
It's
1 out of
probably not,
100 has to be real.
as
right?
materialized or any. I can't think of a better word right now. That was not a good way to
Legitimate.
describe it. But I think she has some kind of connection.
So let's go off the
I don't think
assumption.
it's as connected as she
portrays.
portrays, but I don't think any.
I'm in the
reality TV
salon and
is
I'm getting
on
my
it.
hair done, and this woman comes up to me and I'm like, "I see your grandmother. I see her. She's right there. She wants to say, have a happy life. Have a good day."
He's been waiting for this.
I love it. I'm
waiting for
having a great time.
And she's sitting in the back, like
Yeah.
crying her eyes out.
Yeah,
While
right.
getting her hair done.
So, so mediums.
I
right?
wish I had a better hair, Baba.
Oh, I wish that was in a different place. We're in Long Island. I don't know. There's ghosts and stuff. There's
And then she
people.
goes home to her husband and she's like,
done
Yeah,
first.
you
"This
see-
and
shit's a
then
bunch of
maybe we can deal
bullshit.
with this."
Get out my house."
Yeah. What accent did that go to? You were like, get
It's
out
still
my
Brooklyn.
get out my house.
Get
He
out
starts
my
going to
fucking house.
Irish or English immediately. So
Okay, so
When
he
you're
can't do
Canadian,
this
I
for
can do
too
Canadian.
long.
we
He
got
can
some
do
good we got some good
Canadian.
impressions going here. All right.
But-
so
I
okay.
apologize.
So,
I
that's
had to
great.
go
I
off
loved
on
it. Yeah, you killed me there. All right. So
But we do think she has some.
Sure.
But of course, we think she's
Drama sells.
Because that's the thing, though. We don't. So, when I went to a shaman in high school,
okay.
I didn't know if I had powers or not,
Okay.
or whatever. I wasn't sure what was going on because I was going through a lot of shit.
Sure.
She helped me find clarity, and she was. I don't think she was native by ancestry, but she
So,
was welcomed into
A shaman of like what? Just like of what practice?
She was
Native
I wish
American
I knew
shaman.
More. She was a native.
Okay, there we go. That's
I was in high school. I didn't care about anything. I was
Mm-hmm.
very deep in my head. I was going through a lot. But my mom she was spiritual. She didn't know what I was going through either,
Right.
and so this was one of her things that she was like, let's
Go
just
talk to
try
this
it.
person. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
and I think I went twice. She was very kind. She was a very amazing woman.
keep going.
She taught me a lot about myself, but also she kind of tapped into my past selves and thought I was like this past priestess, sorceress
Sure.
that talked to spirits, and so now spirits continue to talk to me, and that was why.
Okay, so
everything was going
that's
bad.
your origin story about when you started experiencing things, correct?
Acknowledging, yes.
Okay. Now, pause. Jimmy, when did you first start feeling things?
I
Probably
was like
5, right?
5 or 6 years.
That's when I started experiencing.
Allie, when did Jimmy start experiencing?
He
I'm
was
just gonna say
five.
outside.
I'll see you, buddy. I'll see you, buddy.
see you.
Yeah.
She
Well,
knows
he
my
was
story.
my
I
age
know.
too,
Okay.
so it was like 5.
So, my story is a little less shamanistic.
Right.
I started experiencing things when I was 5.
Yes.
Okay.
I have vision problems.
Okay.
I can't see without my contacts in.
Right.
My glasses,
grade
where are they?
contacts. High-
Anyway, when I was a 5, 6-year-old, I used to like play with the orbs on the wall, and my
Right.
parents were like, "The orbs aren't there," and I'm like, "Yeah, they fucking are."
Yeah. You're idiots, parents.
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
So,
that
so
he
at,
might-
at about the same age, I never met my grandfather.
Okay.
He had been dead for 5 years before I was born.
Sure.
1995. I used to be able to, allegedly, I used to run upstairs and I'd be like, oh, and I grab the, she never told me where it was. I'd just open the drawer, grab it, and I'd be like, I used to talk to this guy. And my mom
Yeah.
was like, that's fucking weird.
That is weird. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And not
Mom
used to.
knows.
I always talk to the guy. He's been there throughout my life. And then, like, I really started, like, honing in on it when I started realizing, like, well, honestly, with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's
So
not
that's-
something, my dad is very religious in the Christianity end of things.
That's
So
the
it's
same with
like,
my
Was,
dad,
was it
too,
Cathal?
though.
Was Cathal?
Cat-
The study of Cathal?
the study of Cathal.
Yeah.
And giant stone balls.
But that's the thing. His dad was into it. My dad was.
But yeah,
fine.
so okay, so it was a young age. So when did it get? And then I'll go to you. When did it get the most intense for you?
It got most intense at about 20 when I was with her.
Okay,
So what? Do you mind if I tell that whole story?
absolutely. Go ahead.
So I was sitting there, and honestly, and you know this, we've talked. I get very sensitive when I drink,
Yeah.
Yes.
both emotionally and
Which
physically.
is why we're gonna call it wine and spirit.
But no, like after I've had a couple drinks, and this might disprove things, I don't know.
The veil's down.
But I let myself kind of experience.
Right. So your inhibitions up be up,
Right.
and
So-
like your your walls are up, right? So you let them down, and you said like emotionally. So those barriers of insecurity come away, and then you're free to maybe just feel.
So when I was 20, this happened for the first time, and I started experiencing something that people treat your mental illness.
100%.
I'm going to start with that.
Right.
But I experienced something that was a cause of my anxiety and depression for a long time.
And you don't have to go deeper into that. You
That's
don't.
as far as I go on that aspect, but I do want to also kind of explain.
Sure.
When I was a sophomore in high school, I had an experience. I had a sleep paralysis experience where somebody, it was a whole thing. I was sleeping, I felt trapped. Somebody
Yeah.
was like grabbing my throat.
Right. Like it happens, like they say.
Right.
In
Well,
the most terrifying ways.
Yeah.
finally got out of it about 3 a.m. My girlfriend at the time had texted me and said, I'm speaking as her, my mom had a dream that you died. You got strangled to death, and an angel told me. I was like, whoa, because, like,
Yeah.
that was my...
Yeah.
I've had 2 sleep paralysis experiences in my life. That was the first one. The second one, back when I was at my parents' house, it was terrible. Back when I was at my parents' house, Allie and I were dating.
Not that other stupid bitch.
Not that other dumb bitch.
Yeah.
And sleep paralysis wasn't
Popular.
uncommon to me.
Oh, okay. Was it? Okay.
But it's very uncommon to me.
It was
I
uncommon
don't
to him.
have it often.
I only knew about that experience after this happened.
Okay.
I usually sleep on my right side. For some reason, this night, I slept on my left side. And I had this very vivid dream that I was in a Walmart.
Yeah.
And I was running around the aisles, whatever. For some reason, they had
And then there were these 2 twins. And, they
and
said,
then
"Come play with
and
us."
then they opened an elevator and blood came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, anyway, in reality, shut up, Ken.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Continue.
I didn't mean to make you sad.
That's fine.
No, I was walking around the aisles. I was just shopping, and the security guard comes up, and he's like, "Hey, stop!" I'm like, "What am I doing?" And he's like, "Just stop." And then he gets me in like a chokehold, and he throws me down on the floor. And then this like security guard ends up being this like woman that her flesh is decaying, and that's when I wake up. And I'm still feeling suffocated.
Ah.
And it was so bad it woke me up.
So I couldn't breathe. And I had my face to a wall, so my bed was against a wall, and I was sleeping on my left side, and that's where the
Right.
wall was.
If only you knew jujitsu then.
Oh, my
Oh.
God, I might have been able to get out of it. So, chokehold, skin is melting on my face,
Yeah.
and in my ear, this thing whispers, "I am Bethel."
Bethel?
That's weird.
Yeah.
So
Holy shit.
I like snap out of it, and I'm like, and she at the time again
I
at
was
my
still
parents' house.
sleeping.
I
I'm
had
a
a twin
terrible
bed.
person.
I had a
I'm
twin.
s-
Well, I had a twin bed. It's
I
not all
love
about
sleep.
you, Allie.
I love sleep.
I'm kidding. I love you. Twin bed. She was sleeping on the ground because I had.
Yeah, whatever.
It's fine.
But-
it's
Whatever.
fine.
Whatever.
I
Don't
wake
come
up
at
and I'm
us.
like, and I turn around and I'm like, "What the fuck just happened?" And she's
And
like,
I'm, like, barely
and I'm like,
waking
"No,
up.
wake up! What
'Cause
the
I don't
fuck
wake
just
for
happened?"
most, but like that kind of stirred me, and I was like,
And she
"What are
just
you
woke up and
doing?"
she was like,
And he's
"Wow!"
like,
And that
"Bethel."
and she
And I
was
was
Owen
like,
Wilson.
"What?"
Wow.
Yeah.
You
But
were
I was
on-
confused
Yeah.
because all
No.
he said was really Bethel.
Yeah.
And I was like,
All right.
"Fuck are you talking
Yeah.
So I'm like
about?"
shoving her, trying to wake her up,
And like I
then
don't usually wake up
that's-
when I would usually get up and I would speak in my sleep
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do all this shit
Yeah,
in my
that one
sleep.
out there. She speaks in her sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, my dad so used to it. Him not so much. And like so this I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is crazy. I'm going to bed. I like bed.
Right. I like that.
So-
So okay. So
I'm sorry to make this experience
okay.
super
That's
long,
and
but
this
go
is
ahead.
but this is
This was a
this
crazy
is still where like it was the this is the
I still don't have no clue.
but so that okay so that was like a terrifying experience that opened your eyes to something different. Is that like what where
Yes.
this was?
This has been something that's continuously haunted us to this day.
Okay, so it was that. Okay, I get that now.
And that kind of opened my eyes. And then at one point,
what
we were hanging out, and she started talking about her experience. Let me just make the end of this super
sure, yeah,
boring.
no, I'm dude. I'm not. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, I'm literally gonna make this
Yeah.
super boring.
Yeah.
We were talking at one point, and she was like, "Hey, I can see spirits," and I'm like, "I don't know if I can." And we started talking, and I was like,
This is maybe a
"Similar,
year or
ex-
two into
yeah,
our relationship.
similar experiences," and then we started like
Just happened.
communicating with.
Spirits.
But okay, that's my next
Otherworldly.
question, right? So like, I know you guys from our conversations, and I've gone on this podcast saying you two are the only two I've ever believed.
That means a fuck ton.
Well,
I hope
we
you
had
know
that. Hey, we had that experience. So
It's crazy.
So here's my next question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know you experience them or feel them differently.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, I'll start with you, Allie. Can you explain to the audience and me how you see or feel them. Like, what does it feel
Yes.
like? Just give us a rundown on how it works for you.
So generally, I mean, more recently, I've been feeling pressures of emotions,
Okay.
which is fascinating because I'm tracking how I feel them is just crazy to me.
Right.
But initially and usually, it's kind of hyper-realistic illustrations
Okay.
of whoever's trying to communicate with me. And the first person that ever communicated with me was Jimmy's grandmother.
Okay.
And she came across how she wanted to be shown.
Okay.
She wanted to be dolled up.
Right.
She was in this hat, but it was kind of
I'm
undeniably
gonna interject
her.
here with my grandmother.
Yeah.
She was a little tiny Norwegian woman, and she
Yes.
liked dressing up.
Okay.
And when I described what her facial features were, though, his mom and him were like, "Oh fuck, that's her." But like they were like,
she never met her.
"Yeah, I've never
seen
met
pictures,
her.
nothing like
I've
that?
never seen pictures.
She died
I've
my
never met her."
sophomore year of high school. We started dating freshman year of college.
Yeah,
Right.
I still think I've maybe seen two. So like, it's not an image I can conjure quickly.
Right.
But I've seen her multiple times. But she wanted to be dolled up to meet me.
Right.
And when I described what she looked
that's
like,
nice.
they were like, "Well, she didn't usually do that, but maybe in her prime she might have."
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And it was weird though because I never believed in myself.
right. Okay. So, but that is how they come across to you all the time? Is it always like in like a, I think you said
Hyper realistic
pastels,
illustration.
I think you said at one point. I forget what you said.
Pastels and colored pencils.
Now-
I'm an artist, so
Right.
like
So-
hyper realistic.
So now, is it like an image in your brain? Do you
Yes.
see? Okay, so you don't see it with your eye; it's your
I don't see it
mind's
with
eye,
my
quote
eyes.
unquote.
It's my mind's eye.
Okay, and it's that with emotion or feelings, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's how they died.
Oh.
Kind of, I
okay.
feel. So with this one, Cheyenne, I felt exactly how she was killed.
You felt it.
Yes.
Now, along with that, was it the hyper-realistic picture
Yes.
type of deal? Oof.
I've drawn her multiple times.
Okay.
I've never gotten her perfect because I'm only so good an artist. But she's someone that like doesn't leave my mind because I know exactly what she looks like.
Right. See, that's you know, most of the times when you deal, and we'll get to you next, Jimmy. But so that's, see, to me as a person who has had a lifelong of experiences, things of this. I've been a researcher on it, not professionally. I've never, and I've investigated places.
No, but I feel you.
It's to hear it like that. That's what's very interesting for me is because you'll see, once again we go back to like the Dead Files. Or we go to these other shows. There's people that go like,
Yeah.
and it's one of me and Jay's favorite is
I
from.
thought I was bullshit too. If
Right.
that helps.
Well, right. So, but like you'll see, like you see the most of them, they'll do like the. They're
Yeah.
hanging. They're hanging. I see them visually. They're doing it now, and they'll do that, or they'll like
do that.
they do like they're taking over my body. They'll be like, I'm Devin of Bursters, and then they'll be like, oh no, it's a kid coming through. I'm Jimmy. and like
Yeah.
Zach Baggett.
well.
Yeah,
Bro,
we won't do that.
Bro, no.
Scratch me,
We're,
bitch.
I have a love-hate relationship with Zach Baggins.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but so your description of how it happens to me, it's more believable to me because it isn't so acute. It isn't so
Over the top.
Yes, and it's you, and you even admit, you go, I didn't know, I don't know, but this is what happens, and a lot of times these things line up. Correct?
Until I really met Jimmy, and again, it was like a year and a half into our
Right.
relationship that we actually talked about this to each other.
Because it's something that you might be like, this person thinks I'm a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, and it was like I was through high school with the shaman, and the shaman
Yeah.
was like, "Well, you have a lot of spirits coming at you because you were a
Right.
sorceress in a
Right.
past life.
Nice.
So like they think they can still come to you." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like
Yeah.
I'm fucking 15.
Yeah, you're like, "Bitch."
Like, can I just go to high school
Yeah,
and deal
right.
with this shit?" But
I
then
always-
I met him, And I was like,
I was a.
oh.
I always feel like I was a Wild West lawman in a past life. I have that feeling. It's weird.
That's because
No,
that's
but
what you
that's
look
the
like
thing.
right now.
I look like a Wild West lawman
But
with this
that's-
shirt and these shorts on.
Well,
And my
I
knee
mean,
brace-
you know what I mean.
My
The-
knee.
But no.
It's the bald head and the beard.
Okay.
But like my dad was really into history.
Right.
Like if someone said that to me, I'd been like, yeah, I was a high priest and
Yeah,
the
what up?
lawman,
Gang,
whatever.
gang, you know?
Like, but like when the shaman said that, I was
Oui,
like,
oui.
are you kidding me? Because my dad was like, that's fucking nonsense. But your mom likes it, so
Yeah,
let's
so
just
keep
go with it.
going because it keeps her off my back. Yeah.
But then we moved here, and the shaman was like, you've been in some shit in your past life.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I'm 15.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
For me, like, look, a lot of it's up in the air. I'm not here to tell anyone what anyone is, and
Right.
past lives I don't believe.
And
but
that's the thing.
I really appreciate your description of how you see them. Now, I don't mean to belittle yours, but I
No.
do want to move on to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Can we? Yes.
And it wasn't until him that I thought
Right.
maybe I had some validity.
Right.
So.
All right, so Jimmy, from our prior conversations, I understand that you experienced it differently, and it's almost in a way, your guys' two kind of ways of experiencing it are like complements to each other in a way. So go ahead, give us like a rundown of how it feels for you from jump, like from where it starts to where it ends.
Start to end. So first thing, I start feeling it.
Right. In
There's
what
a
way?
Bit of tingle in my arms and down my spine. Not down my spine, but like right in the back of my neck.
Okay.
To the mid spine, and I feel it kind of from my shoulder to my elbow
Okay.
on both arms.
So does
And
it
I
kind of
have
start
to
at like
tense up.
does it kind of start at like the point of your neck right here, like
Yeah.
like right at the base,
Right at the base of the
where like your
skull.
brainstem meets your
Yep.
spinal cord. Okay, that's interesting. Oh shit.
And I have to kind of tense up.
right.
And then the next thing I start feeling, I guess, is a tingling in my brain.
Okay.
And my next part is I start hearing.
Hearing. Can you? Is it something that you can explain, or is it
It's I'm gonna do my best.
sure?
It's not hearing in the sense that like we're hearing each other or you're
Right.
hearing us right now. It's hearing in the sense of
In your mind, like when we had our experience, I heard, "Dad, are you there?"
Underwater.
almost underwater, but the way I explain it is, you know, like televisions back before they were flat screen,
Yeah.
when they turn on.
Yeah, I was
they
born in
do that-
'86.
Exactly. So you remember tube television?
Yeah,
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
I
so
do.
can't
I had one
describe
in my
it.
bedroom.
I believe you.
I had a furniture television in my bedroom that my mom moved up. The thing weighed 400 pounds, basically. They moved it up. That was my first fucking TV in my bedroom.
Sorry, Ken.
It's fine.
You're old.
I was playing N64 in that bitch. Anyway,
I'm jealous. Yeah. So, the televisions that I remember are just, they have the big back. I don't know if they're tube,
yeah.
but like when they first turn on, they make that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right.
So it's the click of the electronic firing everything up.
Right. But it's kind of like a continuous static of that. And then you kind of have to focus on it. Oh, this is fucking weird. This sounds like bullshit.
No, dude. First of all, look, stop.
Okay.
Don't judge yourself. We're having a conversation.
Judge yourself. No.
I'm very interested in how this is, and I'm sure everyone listening is very interested as well.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, son. I love you too.
And then it goes to more like a tingling in my ears. I don't see them immediately, but when I see, so it goes to the tingling in the ears. Then I have to accept that through.
Okay, so from here's what I'm getting to this point. All right, I'm gonna put this in like a. Here's how I'm getting it, right? So you start with this tingling at the base of the top of your spine from the base of your skull, right?
Yeah.
Goes into your arms, then it goes into this tingling in your brain. Then you get this, something clicks on, right? Like something's powering up almost. The electricity in your body is centering in a specific spot. Then when it clicks on, it gets to a point where you have to now almost harness this in your head.
And I have to choose.
Choose.
So, with that electromagnetic pulse, I guess is the best way to say it. There's a certain energy that comes with it into my brain, and I have to choose to accept or deny. It's like a phone call.
Okay.
Kind of. But it's not always a choice, that's the thing. I mostly choose to just say, go ahead. Because I just want to see what the fuck it is.
Yeah, right.
I'm a very curious person.
Well, yeah, sure. You were born in 95. You know, so.
All right. Yeah. Under the Libra Constantine sun. You know.
Sure.
Anyway, fucking with you. Okay, so it's mildly a choice to accept or decline depending on what it is. Going into much more detail than I feel that I need to do.
I don't think so at all. I think, because look, people don't understand this. Right. And like I said, you guys are, I've had an experience with you, so I have kind of no choice to believe you. And my mind, being the curious mind as it is, doing all these years of research, being into this since I was a fucking toddler.
Right.
I'd like to understand. I like to understand how it works, right? Because when you experience something that you find to be real, you want to know everything about it.
And I'm going to be full honest.
Sure.
The more detail I go into, the more I feel it's fake.
Which, in my mind, adds a little more validity.
That's why I don't like talking about it all that
Sure.
much.
Well, look, if you're uncomfortable, that's
no, I'm fine. For you, Ken, anything.
Oh.
But so from that point, the choice or non-choice to accept comes in, and it kind of comes in as a blur, and then I see whatever
and then you see. So all that from
right.
the here. So it comes from the tingles to the feeling to the hearing, that underwater kind of thing. Choose to accept, and then visual. But now, is it optical or in your head again? Or a mixture of both?
You know when you close your eyes, and then you think you see something when you open them?
Yes.
It's that. That's the best way to describe it.
That every...
it's never just constantly there.
Yeah, it's fleeting.
It's very fleeting, but that's the way it feels, but it is there.
Right.
Like when I open my eyes, it stays there.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it just keeps blinking.
So it's not like, because like me, I have this thing where when I close my eyes for too long and I'm not going to sleep, all these faces bombard me.
Right.
But it's that white light kind
That's
of
what
staticky.
So you see, it's there's a name for this. When you see something in a picture,
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. So what you're experiencing is these white lights. When you open your eyes, it's more of a pareidolia than a real visual. I can close my eye, I can blink, and I can see a legitimate person standing there.
Right.
And they stay there, but they're so blurry that it feels like when you squint your eyes really, you see what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You can explain that.
He is squinting his eyes very hard. I explained it. It was good.
But that's kind of what it is. And then just like...
we had a bathroom experience?
Oh, yeah. They don't like me too much because I'm not a usual person.
Okay, hold on. Have a seat or something. We'll get home. Let Jimmy finish, and we'll get to that, and we'll close it with this. But
so you
squint really hard.
You squint really hard and you blink.
Because
You squint really hard and you blink, but my eyes are open wide. And that's what I see and feel.
So you get that. You know what? I understand that to the point of that. There's that like fuzz. I get that.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So
I get that.
So
I don't like seeing through the fuzz.
I read an energy through that, And
you read an energy through that.
Right.
Can you expound upon that a little bit? Just because people don't understand. You know what I mean? So you squint through that, you get that, and you get an energy through that.
Yes. So you can, from that feeling, they give off a aura.
Okay.
Question mark.
Sensation.
Or a question mark. Okay, I like that.
A giant question mark. It's
Right.
like finding a riddle or clue. In
Yeah, that-
Arkham. Yeah.
No one's
Arkham City.
no one's giving you a blueprint for it, and you're figuring it out what this is.
No, well, no. In reality, they do. They give off an aura.
But
And
they
it's
don't
like-
give good clues.
Is it colors? Is it vibrations? Is it
Just vibes, man.
just vibes, man?
No, in reality, I'm not fucking around. There's a vibration
Right.
that comes off of them, and it goes back to like the feeling in the back of my spine.
Right.
You know, is this good or is this bad? Should I
Right.
get out? It's the same thing
Your
as
history
if
of your
you're
soul.
if you're in a situation and you're like, should I get out of this? Should I stay
Yeah.
in it? You feel something in the back of your head.
Right. That's
Right.
why I asked where it was when you said that, because I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Here's
So
your
it's the same thing. It's not giving off a necessary a color or this or that. It's just in the back of your head, right at your spinal cord, right where it connects to your brain.
Yeah.
It's just like this is a bad vibration,
Right.
or as Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch say,
Good
it's a
vibration.
good vibration.
Right.
Whereas that's not always where it is. for
No
me.
drugs. I put the crack up. Yeah, I know.
Right.
I'm with you. All right, so
Good
And that can be good
yeah,
for me.
that song's bad.
But like usually the front is better for me.
Say that again.
The front is better for her as
The-
opposed to the
The
back.
front of
Yeah,
my
right,
throat
right.
is better to understand what someone might have been through. Like
Okay.
I feel the front,
I don't feel
and
what
then
people.
they,
I do.
and then they drag it to what part of the body they
Okay.
might have felt the final blow, I guess,
Okay.
I
or the most of
choose.
their pain.
I choose to accept what I feel and what I don't feel.
Okay.
And he's a lot better at it.
I'm not
he's a
gonna
lot better
feel-
at accepting and creating limitations.
Now, can I ask? Do you think that that's more for both of you? This is leave the mic right in the middle. So, do you think that Jimmy's able to push away or control because he is more able to control his emotions, or do you think that he is more pragmatic and a mental, like almost like more control over just his thought process?
I think it's both. Honestly, I think he's more pragmatic of both of us. He's always the one that thinks more with his mind. Like I try to think
Instead
with
of
my
my
mind.
penis.
Yeah, right.
I try
Guilty.
to think with my mind, but
You're always thinking what you're
I
doing.
never know
Allie?
if I
She
never
tries
know
to
if
think
my
with-
dick
yeah,
is
yeah.
fucking
Yeah, right.
colluding it.
Yeah.
So, no, but I think I just have a greater impact longing into Jimmy. I
Right.
think he can always think clearer than I can.
Well, also, Jimmy.
I'm more emotional. I'm way
right,
more
but also
emotional.
you're an artist, correct?
I am
Right,
I
and
am
Jimmy,
an artist.
you say fuck art, right? Like you're like fuck art.
I don't say fuck art.
He likes art a lot.
But like, do you
Well-
do you have any like artistic outlet that you might
Yeah.
Draw charcoal.
charcoal? Really? Oh, that's cool.
Paint. Your
And
paint
paint.
is really good.
Oh wow, I
pencil.
didn't know that.
Yeah, we love
I
paint
like
nights.
that. It's terrible, but I do
I
it.
love
Art
his-
is objective.
I
Exactly.
love the
So-
fancy shit fucking creates.
My biggest thing is, in life, I always keep a moderate, non-biased objective
Good.
on everything.
That's the thing.
Good.
He wants to be devil's advocate.
Well,
as
you want to
far
see
as
both
he can
sides.
be.
Right.
Both
Yeah.
sides of everything. Analyze. You're more analytical,
He's very analytical.
You're more let
He's
it
very
spin out.
creative.
Right.
but
he's
but
very
yeah, but Allie, you're
analytical.
more let it spin out and see where it goes, kind of deal. That's not an insult.
Yeah,
That's not an
No,
insult.
it's just I have so many factors warring in me. But yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
I have
So,
ADHD, but I also am very controlling.
But
okay.
it's also just
That's a byproduct of it.
it's just a matter of fact of learning that it's not easy to see both sides of things. feelings. It's really not, especially
It's
in a going back to, we're in a generation of constant.
Gratification.
Now. Yeah.
It constantly comes out, and it's not easy to say
It's not
non-bias,
Yeah.
moderate.
Well, anything
And
you would
that's-
say, someone's going to make it a bias.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take it
Right.
and
And
apply
we're
it to their
both
own.
moderate.
But it's
If
about
you go into the political sphere,
Well, let's not do
no,
that.
no,
Let's
no.
just
we're not
say,
doing that.
but someone that just goes, okay, I have this feeling, this and that. Let me examine this. Let me take a step back and examine it, right?
And
So-
I'd rather that.
And you'd rather that, but sometimes emotions and things like that, they take over. It happens with me. Happens with everyone I know. There's no human being that isn't.
I'm not saying I don't do that.
Yeah, right. So okay, so I'm gonna get into our last question here, and then we're gonna have our final closing statement. No, don't be sorry about anything. Knock it off.
Apologize.
No. Okay, so my last question is: do you guys think that without each other, you would have ever really discovered that your abilities kind of exist? I don't want to say abilities or your feelings.
I'd like you to answer first, Jimmy.
Well, thank you for giving me that. Yes, absolutely. They're not. They don't
agree.
exist coexistently.
Okay.
They exist simultaneously.
I think we were in
Side
a
by
good
side,
environment
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
supportive partners to each other.
Okay.
It's just
I
the
think
fact
it just
that
happened.
It was just a coincidence that you two found each other in these things.
it was a big old coinky dink.
Yeah.
Right.
But like we would have found it eventually
Okay.
on our own, and it's something that we do. I mean, we journey off on our own in
Right.
this journey.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Oh yeah.
like we have different beliefs in the spiritual aspect of things,
Yeah.
and emotional, physical. I mean, it's healthy to have different opinions.
Right. Absolutely. You should.
Right.
I feel that,
Part of being alive.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's something that we would have found eventually. It probably would have taken more time.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
I
oh.
really thought I was fake for. Jimmy helped me feel a little bit more
I still feel like
real.
fake.
I still feel fake too.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the see here's my thing. The funny thing about you two is like when you say like I feel fake or like I feel, I think that concept with you guys is kind of like you're thinking on the standpoint of, to bring this full circle.
Or
you look at
the
the Fox sisters. You look at
Yeah.
John Edwards. You look at all these people. Does making you real mean you have a TV show? Does making you real mean you have a client base? Or are you just connected to the old world, connected to the things around you, where you're just feeling and observing and talking?
So honestly, not to toot your horn, but I'm very into psychology, so cold reading
Same,
is a very
same.
easy thing to do.
Yes,
Yada
yes.
yada. But the experience that we had with you, that
was
kind
weird.
of solidified.
That was fucking
because I
weird
didn't
for
say
us,
shit to you.
too.
You didn't say shit to me.
We didn't know you.
Yeah,
Connected.
it was the first time we met.
Yeah.
We
It was-
didn't know you at all. Like that
Yeah.
was actually my greatest.
And it was just
Feeling.
something that like I was like,
We both.
holy shit.
It was
we
weird,
both
man.
Were like, what the fuck?
It was
was
something
weird.
very simple.
Yeah.
And
it
yet-
wasn't. We didn't tap into
It doesn't-
anything. It just
No.
happened.
I
All
remember-
all you fake mediums out there, it don't gotta be that deep.
Yeah, it don't gotta be
It
that.
really
deep.
don't
Yeah.
gotta be that deep.
Like the thing was, I remember, like that experience. We talked about it after it happened.
Yeah.
We did a closing thing, and like it was our first year living here, and I remember coming back here after it happened, and Britt was here, and I went out back, and I just sat out there for 2 hours to try to kind of clear my head, right? Rethink my inks, things like that. And like, look, I always believed that there was some people that had these things, right? But always it was almost to an end or to a game,
Right.
And
Something.
it was just like it was almost like in its essence pure in the way of like I just had a conversation. We were just there. We were doing this one thing, and then this happened.
I have nothing to gain from you. You have nothing to gain
Exactly.
from me. There's no, I mean,
We didn't
I'm
know
glad
you.
we became friends.
Oh,
after.
Yeah,
absolutely.
oh, I'm
and now
so
we train
glad.
martial arts together.
Yeah.
And all this
But
stuff.
and
I'm
the
so
secret
glad
there
our
is
paths crossed.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna tell the real secret there. We were trying to get into martial arts, and Tim told us, and you just got punked, bud.
Yeah. Whoa!
No.
Ashton Kutcher walks in the back.
Yeah,
He's
you just got punked.
He's got a trucker hat on. I'm like, whoa! And I break
No,
out.
but it
But in
was-
reality, there's...
it
And then we all
was-
skateboard out.
Because again, Jimmy and I were so used to not having the same experiences. Like we would see people, we would see them in such different contexts.
Yeah.
But also...
And then to see someone in contexts that just met each other
Yeah.
really well, like that, even for me, that was really kind of scary.
It was
like
scary.
it was weird.
It was very scary for me.
One
Yeah.
thing
I
I
wasn't
was-
expecting it.
Yeah.
One thing I was very sick of was... I mean, there were specific people that we both knew. At that specific time that we met each other.
Yeah.
But even now, it's like you had to make it about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, my powers, I'm an empath. I do this, I do that. All in all, it's like it's not.
It's not about
Yeah,
that.
it's not
It's
about
about existing.
you. It's not about you.
Yeah. It's not about you. Don't make it about you.
Right.
Don't
we
make it
didn't
about you.
know that you had this person that was bigger, that was
Dude,
And
stronger,
honestly,
that had
when we
these
walked in,
consonants, that had
my-
these mannerisms, that
yeah, it was weird.
it was weird.
to get sentimental
And
and to get
100%, it was weird for us too, because we've both encountered each other's
Mm-hmm.
and some other people's. But that was the crazy. I think that was
To-
for both of us the craziest amount that we've interacted.
to get sentimental and to get I almost didn't do that podcast with Tim
No, you didn't.
because I was like, oh, he just wants to do whatever bullshit, whatever, and I was having a shit day.
Yeah.
I ended up going, and I saw you, and I was like, he didn't tell me he invited. This was in the middle of COVID, and he's like, he didn't tell me he invited somebody else, and I was like, who's this dickhead?
Yeah, with the
sitting in a
fucking
chair
Hawaiian
with a fucking,
shirt.
and a fucking twisted tea in
Yeah,
his hand.
yeah, right.
You
Because
know?
those were the days that I would slam Twisted Teas
Right.
and like I'd get my
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who the
Yeah.
fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And Jimmy
And then
was
you
having a
guys are
real
sitting
bad
around
day. Jimmy
talking
was having a real bad day.
shit. Honestly, because this is all a fake podcast for Tim's
Yeah.
Tim's podcast.
Well, that wasn't a fake. That was the one because he was. So at that point we
But
were.
how it
Right.
projected it to
So
us.
the idea was, yeah, I'm sure how it was explained to you. So the idea was, at first it was like, all right, he's doing these Halloween episodes, right?
Right.
So like I was like, we have these funny ideas, we'll do these skits, but then also let's do. He's like, I know these mediums through. The one who
She
shall not
who
be,
shall
yeah,
not be named.
Yeah.
We weren't-
So Voldemort.
we weren't truly friends with
exactly,
him.
yeah.
We were friends with her.
Exactly. So yeah. So like and he was like, I just want you to be a part of it. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. I was like, and I was leaving the apartment to go do it. And Brittany was like, be nice.
And I was having a shit
was
day.
just having
I was having a
a
really
bad
bad day, and I came in. I had
And
a
we're like,
Guinness.
listen, we haven't done
Growler.
shit in
Yeah.
a while.
And I was just like, I'm not gonna
Probably
drink a
nothing's
lot.
Gonna happen.
Right.
Let's just go drink. You know, because anytime we were with her, we would drink.
Oh sure.
But also,
Alright, fuck
I mean, end of the day, I was just like, I was sitting there, I was having a shit day. I was having a really shitty day, and I was like, I'm not gonna drink much. It's just gonna be Tim and us, and Harley will be there in the background. Whatever. I just want to record this podcast for him.
And then here's this guy dressed like Kevin Pollak in the 90s. I don't even know who that is, but
We
anyway,
immediately
And
fell
then
in love with
I
you.
at that point, I wasn't taking anxiety or depression medications.
It's like we had
So
a
I was
hard
like,
on for you and me.
who is this fucking guy? I'm terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Now I only brought one Guinness, and I need more alcohol.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think you went out to the car and you got your like kit for your other things that I remember.
Yeah, we just had a
Yep.
lot of alcohol in our car. Always.
So I was just like, all right, I need one or two
And
to
Tim
get
didn't
through
even-
this
we
and
weren't
whatever.
even as
And
great friends with Tim as we
Yeah.
are now.
and I just love the fact that at the end of the day, Jesus
You're just
Christ,
real.
King.
We just like that you're real.
Yeah, well, that's all you gotta be. But yeah, no, that was dude. It was fucking wild, man.
And
It was
ever
weird.
since we've been friends.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad I met you. Like I said, I put my stamp on you guys are kind of the only people I believe because of how you handle it, how you deal with it.
You're
And-
the only person I believe believes.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
a
Honestly,
Doesn't matter.
like,
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
believe
I'm a
myself
skeptic of the
sometimes,
core.
and then I'm like,
Should be.
Ken believes me.
I'm always a skeptic, even in my own
Yeah.
I mean, seeing it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I could just be having hallucinations for all
Maybe.
I fucking know.
Are we crazy?
I don't fucking know.
All I know is at one point it all collided, and it all was a shared experience, and it wasn't a shared hallucination.
I remember because I did this.
Yeah.
And you were like,
And I was like, yeah, that's it.
Well, because at the time, like,
Tim's
kept
uncle
seeing-
had died at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time, and he was like, "Is that my uncle?" And I'm like,
wanted to see his
"No, it's for you, bald
Yeah.
guy."
He
Yeah.
wanted to see his uncle so bad, but the thing is, his uncle was just. His uncle was waiting in the sidelines. Like,
well, the weird
he's
thing
not
was it was
overly combative.
the big experience is what I was feeling while this was going down, and I'm watching these two strangers do something,
We
And
were
I-
sitting there.
and I start having this.
What the fuck are these people?
No, I've been around plenty of people, so I knew. I just was like, But then I started having this feeling. I went pale. I thought I might pass out, and and then I heard in my head, "Dad, is that you?" And it wasn't. I didn't say it. No one else said it. It was in my head, and I just. It was the weirdest thing, and then it hit me like a panic attack would, and I went. I did that, and I shot up, and then you were saying someone. You were just like someone. It just keeps saying, "Hey, hey, hey," and that's what I was feeling. And in my head, I was like, "Fuck off, jerk offs." Like that's what I thought to
Yeah.
myself. But in the same breath, I couldn't. And I remember.
'Cause you kept looking at me, going like doing something.
Well,
better
no,
than myself.
the scariest. Here's the scariest part.
Yeah.
I'll break this down.
Please.
And I forgot about it. You kept saying you were doing the thing you were feeling. You were saying over here, and you were saying I'm getting this. And while you were saying this, I had a vision, not a vision, but I had a memory in my head of a time. I didn't want to bring it up earlier, but that my father grabbed my grandfather by the neck and put him against the door and said, "I'll kill you, old man," when they were having an argument. And but then you said, after the third, you said Carl Earl, and I was too freaked out at the time to remember anything. And then my mom came over that weekend, and I was telling her the whole experience because she's big into believing all of it. And she said,
I knew you were, and I was like, also like, I'm a fucking quack. I
"But
don't know
well,
what the
that's well,
fuck's
but
happening."
so she goes, Carl, she's like, Krill, your dad's nickname, who we named your first dog after," and I almost hit the floor. And I was like,
And I remember you
fuck.
texting me
Yeah,
that
yeah,
night.
I did. I was like, "Hey, look."
Facebook, I am.
Yeah, Facebook messaging.
You're
But
like, what the fuck?
yeah, it was a crazy experience, and I'm glad we shared it. I'm glad we had this episode. I'm gonna fast track it and wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, so we always like to do we call it closing statements on most of them. I mean, do you guys want to take a shot at doing a closing statement of the whole conversation? What's one closing statement you might say? Well,
You never know what's out there, honestly.
Yeah.
say that again.
Whether you think
We'll
that you
start
know
from the
what's
beginning.
out there or not,
The beginning.
you never know what's out there.
Right.
Whether you think you know it or not, our brain levels is just, it's closed-minded
Yeah.
to think we know what's going
We
on.
know everything. Right.
Yeah.
Jim, you got a closing statement?
Stay skeptical.
Nice.
Honestly.
I like it. And mine is go have some experiences, meet new people, find some shit out. And you know what?
And you're gonna find friends from it.
Yeah, and you know what? You might find friends from it. You know?
The more
Cheers.
experiences, the better.
Exactly. Well, all right, guys. For King in this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James. This has been Jimmy Fox and Allie Connors. And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.